It's always a gamble when it comes to the Sonic the Hedgehog games. You're never sure if you're going to get greatness or another disaster. But Sonic Mania is out now, and like many, I've been really hyped for it. But is this a truly superior supersonic game, or is it more like a horrendous Hedgehog experience? Sonic Mania is very much a classic Sonic game. There's plenty of platforming, great speed, rings to collect, and tons of bad guys to beat as you battle your way against Dr. Robotnik. The game is a mix of old and new when it comes to its levels, having a lot of classic Sonic levels being included, with remixed areas and overall new experiences in these stages that we already know and love. You have levels from Sonic 1, 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic CD. There's also a couple of brand new levels that actually stand out and for the most part are a great addition. There's a total of 12 different zones with 2 acts in each. Similar to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you do fight a boss at the end of both acts, a mini-boss at the end of Act 1 and a full boss at the end of Act 2. The game's core gameplay is very much classic Sonic. There's none of the new abilities from later Sonic games in here. There is a plethora of items that you're able to find from those classic Sonic games like the Lightning Shield, Water Bubble, Fire Shield, as well as of course classics like the Speed Up Shoes and Invincibility. You're able to collect tons of rings, and you're rewarded with an extra life if you're able to collect 100, and you're also given the bonus game if you make it to a checkpoint with a certain number of rings. For those who love classic Sonic, you're going to have a blast being able to run through these levels. The platforming is tight, and I only ran into a few minor issues here and there. There was a couple of times where I would end up getting squished on something. In fact, I think almost every one of my deaths outside of maybe one boss ended up killing me because I ended up getting squashed between walls. Sometimes, though, it was a bit iffy on why I got squashed, but outside of that, for the most part, everything worked great. What I absolutely adore about this game, though, is the way that it handles the older levels. It encompasses bits and pieces so that it's still a new experience, but with a very old feel to it. You also have Easter eggs everywhere, with enemies from different levels all together being included in some of these classic stages, as well as other things that maybe were cut from the original Sonic games, or just little things in the background that end up referencing other pieces of Sonic lore. It's just an absolute eyeful, and I loved every moment of that. The game does have a couple of modes to it. The main mode, which you can play as both Sonic and Tails, Sonic or Tails by themselves, or as Knuckles, as well as it's done very much like Sonic 3, where you're able to go back to previous levels. Once you complete the game, you can go back and explore other zones that you've already completed, as well as there is that save feature. So if you end up losing all your lives and getting a game over, you can start back from whatever zone you left off on. There's also the competition mode, which is just like the one from Sonic 2, as well as a time attack mode to see if you're able to complete the levels as fast as possible. There's a bunch of extras that you'll be able to lock for getting all the Chaos Emeralds and the medals throughout the main game. The way the game does its special stages is you have it like Sonic 3, where you find giant rings hitting walls, and these lead you to the Chaos Emerald stages, which are reminiscent of Sonic CD's special stages, but they have bits and pieces of the other Sonic special stages included, like with backgrounds and such. And then, at the checkpoint markers, you can get a bonus stage that takes you to the classic Blue Sphere game from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and it's basically those classic levels, with your goal being to get all the spheres and all the rings to get gold medals, and you'll be rewarded with some extras for doing so. There's only a couple of negative things about the game, like the tech issues I mentioned earlier, as well as the game still isn't particularly long. It's to be expected with a classic Sonic game. It's longer than most of those classic Sonic games that it's taking inspiration from, but it still only took me about 2.5 hours in order to play through it, and there's not a ton of difficulty here. I think for those who love classic Sonic, you'll breeze through this game for the most part, though those who maybe aren't as skilled or didn't play a lot of classic Sonic games, you will probably run into a hiccup or two as you get a little bit farther into the game. Sonic Mania is available now on the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch for $19.99, which is an okay price. I have to say also that I'm very disappointed at the trophy list for the game. It doesn't even have a platinum or a gold trophy even. It's just very lazy and unacceptable to not have that in a game like this, especially in this day and age, and I really think Sega dropped the ball with that one, but I'm not going to ever take away points if a game doesn't have trophies. Overall, Sonic Mania is a great classic Sonic experience. I wish there was a few more original levels, I wish the game was a bit longer, and there are a couple of minor technical issues, but for the most part, the game is great, and a lot of Sonic fans are going to absolutely adore it. The music is also stellar. I put the controller down several times just to enjoy the background music. With everything said though, I'm going to be giving Sonic Mania an 8 out of 10. But anyway guys, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.